Today is 25th April 1998. We will continue last week's lecture regarding analysis of person and consciousness. It's not finished yet. We're going to finish today. For Dukati, the last page, right? For the Dukati Ahituka Buddhujana, you already know about Buddhujana. We used it many times. This term, Buddhujana, is the whirling who are not attained any enlightenment. We call Buddhujana. Right? It's called ordinary whirling person. Because Buddha here is meant here abundance of various mental defilement. It's mental defilement. Jana is the being, person, being with abundance of various mental defilement. It's called Buddhujana, whirling. Or persons who are distant from noble ones. It's not any enlightenment. Just ordinary, normal person, Buddhujana. Dukati, you already know that. Dukati is the woeful state. Ahituka, rootlessness. Their rebirth consciousness is the Ubekha Sanirana. You already know that, right? Unwholesome, resultant, investigating consciousness accompanied by indifferent. Remember that, right? This one. Yeah, because they are relating consciousness, ahituka. That's why we call Dukati ahituka. For this person, how many consciousness they have? 37, right? We already discussed about 37. So 12 unwholesome consciousness and except small producing consciousness, we have rootless consciousness 17, right? And sense sphere, wholesome consciousness 8, altogether 37. You see here, even as the animal, sometimes just a wholesome consciousness can occur to their mind, right? Even as animal. According to Dhammabada, this mention about this story, many stories you have here. Like one story is the one monk practiced meditation in the jungle, the forest. When this monk was armed around in a village, in city, and it's one dog just follows the monk to protect him, protect him, so make him safety. So, according to his wholesome consciousness, protecting the monk who practiced meditation in the forest, after this dog died, was reborn at heaven. So this is I want all of you to know that even as animals, sometimes wholesome consciousness can arise. Like some family, they have a cat, dog at home. Somebody just pay respect to the monk. They can raise up, they pay respect to you, see. They understand that, That's why even animal, sometimes they can occur wholesome consciousness too. Like some hell being, sometimes they very suffer in hell. Sometimes they think about, because when previous life, we did, some the demeritorious deed, the bad action. Now we are reborn on this hell. So after we are free from this hell, we will try to be a good person. We'll do our meritorious deed as much as we can. Just think about it, understands that according to the action, the karma. This the wholesome consciousness can arise in your mind. Sometimes, So just the wise, just the woeful state of being against the being who are born in the woeful state can have this wholesome consciousness. Just for example, I let you know that. So for the Sugati Ahetuka, Sugati is the happy plane. Su is mean good, right? Happy plane. Like that's our human world or celestial world, because Sugati. But Ahetuka here, they are relinquishing consciousness is rootless consciousness here, right? Wholesome, resultant consciousness, Sandirana, right? Sandirana consciousness, accompanied by Ubekha. Because of their relinquishing consciousness, is the Ahetuka consciousness we call Sugati Ahetuka. Buddhajana, as you know, beings with abundance of various mental defilement, lobha, dosa, moha, a lot. So Buddhajana. For that person, have 12 akusala, right? Unwholesome consciousness, and 17 rootless consciousness, excluding smile producing consciousness, 17. And sense sphere, wholesome consciousness, 8, and here, great resultant Mahavibhaga here. Consciousness disassociated with knowledge, without knowledge. Jnana Vipayutta 4. Mahavibhaga without knowledge 4. So 37 plus 4, 41. Right, altogether 41. And for the Sugati Dvihetuka here. Sugati is the happy plane. The Dvihetuka, Dvi is mean two. Right? Hetuka is mean root. Whose rebirth consciousness is conditioned by two roots. Two roots are alobha, dosa. Right? Without knowledge, no moha, no wisdom, no knowledge. For this person, for Buddhajana, this person, how many consciousness they have? Just 41. Same with Sugati Ahetuka. Same, right? Same. How different? Sugati Ahetuka and Sugati Dvihetuka, how different? You already know that, right? For Ahetuka, Sugati Ahetuka is what kind of person? For when he was born by blind, deaf, dumb. The person, that's just 41 type of consciousness can arise in their mind. For this two roots, Dvihiduka person also is the same as normal person. But they are rebirth consciousness without knowledge, wisdom, just aloba, adosa. Right? The same 41 type of consciousness. We already discussed about last week. And Sugati, Tiheduga Budujana. Sugati is happy playing. Right? Tiheduga, whose rebirth consciousness is conditioned by three roots: aloba, adosa, moha. Right? Non-attachment, non-aversion, non-delusion. This means this resultant consciousness here, A, right? Accompanied by wisdom, knowledge. Jnana, Sambayutta, 4, right? Jnana, Sambayutta, 4. For that person, this the 54 type of consciousness can arise. 12 unwholesome consciousness, right? And ruleless consciousness, 17, right? Except smile producing consciousness. Because smile producing consciousness just for Arahant only. And sense sphere, beautiful consciousness, wholesome consciousness, right? Kusala. Sense sphere, beautiful, wholesome consciousness, A. And Mahavipaka, great resultant consciousness, A. And how many one? 45. This 45 is for the person who are not gain jhana. If this person gain jhana, rupa jhana, arupa jhana, he will get the sublime, wholesome consciousness, 9. 45 plus 9, 54. This for Tihiduka person who are born in this sense sphere. This is the most, this is possible for this person because the sublime wholesome consciousness here. If this person only gain the first jhana, maybe it's just only one, 54 plus 1. And it's just 45, right? 45 plus 46. So if you gain second jhana, something like that, So if you gain just a rupa jhana 5, 45 and 5, 50. If you gain the first arupa jhana, just add 1, something like that. Just possible, just a whole, right? Rupa jhana, arupa jhana. That's why I put sublime, wholesome consciousness. Now it's possible for him to get this consciousness. We just talking about for the sense sphere being, right? Later, but at the last week, I told you that here, for all Tihiduka person, I say it's the 63, right? That's because I just normally say that if we classify this RAM and the person, will be another thing. So we will discuss later. Okay. After we discuss about or what play, how many consciousness can write that play, and then we will start discuss about the person very easy. We will going back later about that. And Sugati Tiheduka Sodapana. Sodapana, you know that, right? Tiheduka is that's the whose rebirth consciousness is conditioned by three roots: aloba, adosa, moha. As Sodapana here, extreme enterer, who gain the first stage of enlightenment, Sodapana. right? This for the Sotapanna stream enterer, this how many consciousness can arise? 50. For the sense sphere, Sotapanna stream enterer, or is a stream enterer, right? 50 is because he's already eradicates the Didikada Sambayut. Unwholesome, just the unwholesome consciousness accompanied by wrong view, right? So already eradicates the no Didikada Sambayut, the Chitta for no doubt, Vichikicha here, right? No Didikada Sambayutta, no Vichikicha. So from unwholesome consciousness 12, we subtract Didikada Samyutta 4, Vichikicha 1. The rest is 7, right? 7 unwholesome consciousness. Vichikicha 1. The rest is 7, right? 7 unwholesome consciousness. So 7 unwholesome consciousness, so excluding Didikada Samyutta 4, Vichikicha 1, 7. And rootless consciousness 17, right? 17, except semi-produce consciousness, right? 17. And sense sphere, wholesome consciousness, 8. Sense sphere, resultant consciousness, 8. Right? 8. If this stream enterer, if he gain jhana, sublime, wholesome consciousness, 9. If he not gain jhana, he will not get this sublime, wholesome consciousness. And for Sotapadipala, so Sotapadipala, fruit consciousness, right? For Sotapadipala 1. So altogether, 50, 50 type of consciousness.
Is that with the jhanas?
This is with jhana. Yeah. If without jhana, just subtract this 9 sublime consciousness. Maybe if he just gain just the first jhana, 1 of 9, right? Depends. Just possible. Or if you have rupa, wholesome consciousness 5, arupa, wholesome consciousness 4. It depends on the person. So altogether 50. For the Sugati Tihetuka Sagaragami, one returner. For this person, just substitute here Sotapati Phala consciousness is with Sagaragami Phala consciousness. See that, right? It's the same 50. The same 50 for the Sagaragami. Unwholesome consciousness 7, right? Excluding Didikada Samyutta 4 and Vichikicha. Because this Sagaragami Magga cannot completely eradicate any mental defilement. Just remain the same. Look, Sotapanna stream enterer. Just makes the kilesa, mental defilements just flicker, right? Not completely destroy. And Ahiduga, rootless consciousness 17, except semi-producing consciousness, and sense sphere, wholesome consciousness 8, resultant consciousness 8, sublime consciousness 9, and Sagaragami Phala. Sagaragami phala chitta, right? 1. Altogether 50.
When on the pala, when you get second pala, then you can't have the first pala.
Oh yeah, you can. Yes, yeah.
So it's not like the jhanas where you kind of accumulate.
Yeah. You can develop the first jhana, second jhana. For the phala, it's not like that. Only one. And after we pass that, we not get this. Yeah, not go back. And sugati tihetuka anagami, non-returner, right? Non-returner. For this person, in unwholesome consciousness, he eradicates the aversion, right? Which no dosa, citta, here, no dosa, citta. Just in unwholesome consciousness, just only 5, right? 5, lobha mula citta, 4, didikada vipayutta, right? And the last one, restlessness, uddhacca, 1. Just in unwholesome consciousness, 5, dosa are eradicated. And unwholesome consciousness 5, and in the ruleless consciousness the same 17, except smile producing consciousness. And sense sphere wholesome consciousness, beautiful wholesome consciousness 8, right? For a great resultant consciousness 8. Right? If he gains jhana, so for the sublime, wholesome consciousness 9, and anagami phala citta 1. So how many 1? 48. For the sotapanna and sagaragami 50. For anagami 48. That's 1. That's 2. Right? 2 is dosa, right? Just a subtract dosa. Mula citta, aversion from 50, just a 48. For sugati dihiduga arhan. So for arhan, no wholesome consciousness, no unwholesome consciousness for arhan. So how about ruleless consciousness 18? Get it all. Even as arhan, sometimes he experienced this unwholesome resultant consciousness, right? Just unwholesome consciousness, unwholesome resultant consciousness. You see, the one he didn't want to see, something like that. This is the undesirable object, sometimes he can experience according to the past karma, right? So, unwholesome resultant consciousness, wholesome resultant consciousness, and just a functional consciousness, or just a rootless consciousness 18. And there's no wholesome right here. So a resultant consciousness, a, and sense sphere functional consciousness, a, right? And then this it's not for every arahant can gain jhana. Some arahant cannot gain jhana. Cannot gain jhana. If he gains jhana, sublime consciousness, function consciousness, sublime functional consciousness, 9. Yeah, 9. And arhata phala, the last one. Arhata phala citta 1. So how many 1? 44. 44. Rootless consciousness 18. Mahavipaka, great resultant consciousness 8. Sense sphere functional consciousness 8. Sublime functional consciousness 9. And arhata phala citta 1. Altogether 44. 44. If he's not gain jhana, just subtract this the sublime consciousness 9. This possible is for the Arahants, that's 44. This 44 is meant 44 type of consciousness. So Arahant who are living in sense sphere, human world or celestial world. It's not for form sphere and formless sphere. We'll stop in later. It's for the being who are born in sense sphere. Understand it, right? Now we go to analysis of plane and consciousness. Okay, the first page, okay. Look at the first page, okay, we see that. So, we are not finished yet. Just for the Magga, right? For the Magga. For the Magga, or Maggata, individual have only one Chitta, right? According to their respective Magga Chitta. Here is meant here for a Sotapatti Magga person. This maybe you already know that because we already studied about Magga thought process, right? Magga thought process from Bhavanga Charana, Bhungupijeda, right? Prikama, Upachara, Anuloma, Godarabu, Magga. Remember that, right? Magga. At that moment, this person we call Sotapatti Magga person. Just 1 second, right? 1 moment. So for the Sotapatti Magga, here is a Maggata. Maggata is the Magga person the same. That person just only one consciousness. Sotapatti Magga Chitta. When he gains the second state of enlightenment, second Magga, Sagaragami Magga, at that moment, that person Sagaragami Magga person. The time he gains that the third state of enlightenment, Anagami Magga, when Anagami Magga consciousness arises, right? At that moment, this person we call Anagami Magga person. Just only one. Even we call the person just only, very brief, the short time. At the time he who gains the fourth state of enlightenment, Arhata Magga. When Arhata Magga consciousness arises, at that moment, that person we call Arhata Magga person. So that's why here all Maggata individual have only one Chitta, only one. So here the person. Yes, just 1 second. Yeah, 1 second. Maybe brief then for 1 second. So for the person here, we classify the person for the 12 person, right? The 12 person. Dugati Ahiduka is that according to their rebirth consciousness, right? Just 1. And Sugati Ahiduka 1. Sugati Dvihiduka 1. Sugati Tihiduka 1. For Pudujana, worldling person, we have 4 kind of Pudujana, right? 4 kind of Pudujana, according to their rebirth consciousness. 4 kind of Pudujana. And for an Aryans, noble person, we have 8. 8 is here. Sotapatti Magga person. Sagaragami Magga person, Anagami Magga person, Arhata Magga person. Yes, Sotapatti Phala, stream entrer person, right? The Sagaragami Phalata or once returner As the Anagami Palata or non-returner, Arhata Palata here is the Arhan. So we have we have 8 realms. Heard that, right? Realms. The noble person, we have 8 noble person. 8 noble person. The first term, when we gain first state of enlightenment, what we call Sotapatti Magga person, right? At that moment, after this Sotapatti Magga Chitta arises and perishes, until he will gain the highest state of enlightenment, that person we call stream enterer. Understand? That's stream enterer. The stream enterer. So there's, in Pali they call Sotapatti Magga person, Sotapatti Phala person. And then he practices meditation. And he will gain second state of enlightenment. The moment the Sagaragami Magga Chitta rises, at that moment, that person we call Sagaragami Magga person. After that, until he will reach the third stage of enlightenment, this person we call once returner, Sagaragami Phala. To reach the highest state of enlightenment, we need to practice meditation. Since the whirling person, stream enterer, from stream enterers to become the one returner, who are already become one returner, would like to gain the third state enlightenment, so to practice meditation again, and then the third state of enlightenment, the Anagami Magga Chitta arises. At that moment, this person we call Anagami Magga person. In Pali, we call Anagami Maggata. Just remember, it's the person. Will be clear. From this Anagami Magga Chitta, after this Magga Chitta arises, after this Anagami Magga Chitta, until he reaches the fourth state enlightenment, this person we call non-returner. Non-returner. And then practice meditation again until he gains the fourth state of enlightenment. Arhata Magga Chitta arises. At that moment, we call Arhata Magga person. After that, we call Arhan. So, this Sotapatti Magga person, Sagaragami Magga person, Anagami Magga, Arhata Magga person. This is very short term, brief term. That's why mostly we just use Sotapanna, Sagaragami, Anagami, Arhan. Right? So we have Aryans 8. When you do chanting, the attribute of the Sangha, the virtue of the Sangha, because individually we have 8 persons, individually. Yadidang Chattari Purisa Yugani Atta Purisa Bukala, you say our chanting book. So individually 8 persons. The Sotapatti Magga, Sotapatti Phala. It's the one pair, right? In pair you have 4 pairs. So Sagaragami Magga, Sagaragami Phala person, Anagami Magga, Anagami Phala person, Arhata Magga, Arhata Phala person. Individually is 8, by pair is the 4. So we call Aryan. What's the Aryan? Pure. Purity, right? Pure. Pure from what? Mental defilement. Yes. Kilesa, mental defilement. So we have 4 Buddhujana. 4 Buddhujana, right? 4 Buddhujana. 4 kind of Buddhujana. Already know that, right? That's the beings, the woeful state, hell being, right? Animal, and hungry ghosts, asuras, demons, the four kind of person we call Buddhujana too. Dukati, Ahiduka, Buddhujana. Right? For us, the human being who born blind, deaf, dumb, this is called Sugati because the location is good, right? Sugati, human world. But this person, their rebirth consciousness, Ahiduka, investigating consciousness, Sandirana, right? That's why we call Ahiduka. Just one kind of Buddhujana. And Sugati Dvihiduka, their rebirth consciousness, just two root. And Tihiduka, rebirth consciousness, three roots. So we have four kind of Buddhujana and 8 kind of Aryans. So we have 12 persons. Right, 12 persons. So for knowledge, when you read the book, you will see they mention about Sekha. He got Sekha. S-E-K-H-A, Sekha. Sekha person or Asikha person. Maybe you see that this term, Sekha. Sekha is mean those who undergoes the training. Undergo the trainings to be a Sekha. It's not, their duty is not finished yet. Not reached to arhanship. I have to practice because undergo training. Because in Pali it calls Sekha. Who are Sekha? Sodapati, we have 8 Aryans, right? The first 7, except Arhan, we call Sekha. Sodapati Magha, Sodapati Phala person. Sagragami Magha, Sagragami Phala person. Anagami Magha, Anagami Phala person. And Arhata Magha person. Also still have Sekha person. Undergoes training. After become Arhan and then because Asekha. Asekha who no more undergo any training. Their duty is finished, They already eradicate all the mental defilement. So Sekha, Asekha. So after we know this, all kind of this person, we go to analysis of the plane and consciousness. How many planes? How many planes? Briefly, we have 3, right? Sense sphere plane, form sphere, and formless sphere. Here, that is the sense sphere, formless sphere. On the sense sphere, how many sense sphere? How many planes sense sphere? No. 11. Woeful state, human world, celestial being, celestial world, altogether 11. This 11 plane we call sense sphere plane. Sense sphere. On a sense sphere, according to circumstances, 80 types of consciousness, these thought processes are obtained. So, how many consciousness? How many consciousness here? 89. 89. But if it's called, normally we use the Chitta consciousness 89. If we say thought process, in Pali they call Viti Chitta. When you see something, that is we already started about 5 standard thought process, right? And minor thought process is not used as the bhavanga. It's not thought process, right? Bhavanga is not process. What is the bhavanga? Bhavanga is that Padisani, bhavanga, and Judy the same, right? This Two, Ubekha Sandirana, great southern consciousness, and sublime resultant consciousness. This 19 is not thought process. Right? The thought process should be 80, excluding sublime resultant consciousness 9 for the sense sphere, right? 80 types of thought processes are obtained. See that, right? Why the sublime consciousness cannot arise in the sense sphere? Why? Here. For a Rupa Vajara, resultant consciousness 5, those chittas perform their duty in the form sphere only, cannot arise in the sense sphere world, right? Sense sphere. That's why here the sublime Rupa Vajara here, resultant consciousness 5, Arupa Vajara, resultant consciousness 4, cannot obtain in the sense sphere. That's why if we say thought process, how many thought process can obtain in sense sphere? Just 80. Understand, right? 80. Please look at this chart. For the being who are born in sense sphere, they can obtain sublime, this jhana, right? So jhana, wholesome consciousness, you can get it. For arahant who are born in the sense sphere world, when they practice meditation, you gain jhana, they get this sublime functional consciousness too, but not resultant consciousness. That's why on the sense sphere, according to circumstances, 80 types of thought processes are obtained. According to circumstances, it means it should not gain jhana. You cannot get this sublime, wholesome consciousness and this functional consciousness. Maybe just gain just first jhana, we just get this the first jhana consciousness. That depends on the person's circumstances, right? So we have to know that first. For on the plane of form, form sphere, how many form sphere? How many planes we have? Look at the chart. 16, right? 16, but the mindless being, one is the, just subtract this one. Except it's mindless being, we have form, the plane of form 15, right? And on this 15 plane of form, Rupa Vajara, sense form sphere, right? 64 types of thought processes are obtained. 64. So this is the difference. For the sense sphere, 80. For the plane of form, Rupa Vajara, 64. Well, 64. No, well, 64. So write it down first, and then I will explain to you one by one. Make it easy, right? Well, 64, such as unwholesome consciousness 10, except dosa, mula, citta, right? Just unwholesome consciousness, just 10. Write it down, 10. Unwholesome consciousness 10, excluding dosa, mula, citta. Right? Just write it down first, right? I will explain later why they not get that. And In rootless consciousness 12. Rootless consciousness 12. The excluding here, Ghana, these are nose consciousness, tongue consciousness, body consciousness, 6, right? The remainings, the 12. 12 type of rootless consciousness. And sense sphere wholesome consciousness, and sense sphere beautiful functional consciousness, no great result, no Mahavibhaga, right? Just a wholesome and functional consciousness. And form sphere wholesome consciousness 5. And form sphere functional consciousness 5. Right? And formless sphere wholesome consciousness 4. Formless sphere functional consciousness 4. Right? And then Logudra supramundane consciousness 8. Altogether 64. Right? 64. So unwholesome consciousness 12, excluding dosa mula citta 2. Aversion, right? Why didn't get aversion on the plane of form? This aversion has been inhibited by those born in form sphere and formless sphere. Since the practice meditation, if it is to have